Daz, you'll kill the children.
So really it's a question of whether we're going to stay or not. Do we abandon this and head home? But it's wet all along here where that reflection is. If I get the awning out, it'd be like a mini workshop.
Is this a midlife crisis?
Hello and welcome to Escaping the Motorhome. My name's Daz and this is B. We're a home education, home working family who recently bought a motorhome to go on great adventures. So join us as we take the family on some wild walks, some wild and not so wild camping, explore our surroundings and try new things whilst getting to grips with living and working in our new small space. We experience the highs and lows of motorhome life. And if you enjoy our channel, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Following on from our last video, we left the car park and headed south to Church Oak Cove in search of pirates. Okay, this is a really odd fact on this Church Oak Cove trail. So there's lots of things to see on this trail. This one's called Pennsylvania Castle because it was built by the grandson of William Penn, who founded Pennsylvania in America.
Small world.
It is, it's a very small world.
Well, we're on the way through this beautiful little woodland down to somewhere called the Pirates Graveyard.
Church Oak Trail.
Easy. They said it would be slippery. Oh my gosh. Easy does it.
Oh yeah. This looks kind of spooky.
Wow.
This must be a ruined castle. There's ruins all over here. Come on, Peg.
We're right by the cliff edge. I'm sure this area is full of myth and legend.
Okay.
Stand on the part already.
What have you found there then?
Well, there's a gravestone with a skull and crossbones on, and all I can read is "Here lies the body." But I don't think that's the only one, chap.
Yeah, perhaps the gravestones signifies more of a church than an old chapel.
So I feel a little bit sorry for all of these bodies that are just left to fall.
Well, they've been branded as pirates as well.
Let's have a look.
Tombstones.
So, what do you know about smugglers then, boys? Moonfleet, the story of Moonfleet by Jamie Faulkner. And lots of people say that it was probably set around Dorset. You know that in Moonfleet, Elzevir Block's son is shot by the king's men, but why is that?
Because he's a smuggler.
Because he's a smuggler. So what did they used to smuggle?
They're like
Alcohol to avoid paying the duty. But of course the king's men were on the lookout, so even though they did it in the cover of darkness and they often used shady coves and places to store their booty that they weren't paying duty on, the king's men would be looking out for them to shoot them. Now some people say this is a pirate's graveyard and we can see skull and crossbones. I hate to say it, it's a myth.
Why are we here?
Well, because it's interesting. This was definitely used by smugglers, but in the 17th century, or sorry, in the 18th century, you'd often see skull and crossbones on gravestones because it signified death. We probably wouldn't put it on now because of its links with piracy and because it's almost linked with things that are bad and spooky. So here it is, boys. Church Oak Cove was definitely used by smugglers. So why do you think they chose coves like this? No one could see them. How? What do you mean? What if you were stood here, you could see them? So if they were stood over there, they might not see a small boat without any lights on coming into the cove. So smuggling would have been a proper team effort. You wouldn't have just had people in the boats. When they got to shore, you would have had other people coming in collecting the barrels and taking them somewhere secure. Can you remember where they were stored in Moonfleet? They stored some of it in the Why Not, yes, but where else? Can you think of when they thought that Blackbeard was in the underneath the?
I know what it is.
The crypt in a church. The church flooded and there was banging, and he presumed it was the coffins of all the pirates, maybe Blackbeard, underneath the church. But it turns out it was all the barrels of alcohol that the smugglers were storing. It's a good story. I must read it to you guys.
Why are pirates called pirates, Mummy?
Because they are!
I got a better joke.
Oh, go on, what's your joke?
What did the pirate say when he turned 80?
I don't know. What did the pirate say when he turned 80?
Arr, matey!
So there we go. It's not a pirate's graveyard. It's a 13th century church ruins. Now, I need to catch up with everyone else. Phoenix believes these steps lead to a temple. There's an awful lot of them. So many steps. And for you geology fans out there, check out the sedimentary rock.
I'm saying it's layered like a trifle.
It's a cool little seating area. So over there in the distance, in theory that's one side of the Isle of Wight, I would guess. And then above the rocks and the cove, against the falling sun, is honestly, it looks like the side of a castle or fort. Must be one of the 2 or 3 castles here.
Behind me is Portland Museum, and it was established by Marie Stopes, who was a pioneer of birth control. I just think that's really random. She had visits while she bought part of the lighthouse from playwright George Bernard Shaw, H.G. Wells, who wrote War of the Worlds, and another, Thomas Hardy as well. Thomas Hardy was so inspired by these cottages, he decided that one of his heroines in one of the stories was going to live in Abbas Cottage. So it's just behind us.
From Portland Museum, we headed south down the island towards Portland Bill. Now, as a kid, I used to enjoy watching kids' animations on TV. There was one, it was all about a lighthouse keeper, and the animation was called Portland Bill. And as a kid, when I saw on the map that Portland Bill was a real place, I couldn't believe it. And I'm happy to say, in a kind of weird childhood dream way, I've now seen Portland Bill in the flesh. I've now got my own Portland Bill to take home. How cool's that? I won't sing you the tune from the children's thing. I do remember the first part of it, but if I can, I'll try and find an old bit of footage of YouTube.
Oh, come with me to the rolling sea while the weather's calm and still, and we'll have some fun and laughter with the adventures of Portland Bill.
This is my lighthouse on the Guillemot Rock.
Yes, so in fact not set on Portland at all. On the fictional Guillemot Rock next to a fictional town called McGillicuddy. Still, I'm sure the real thing played some part in inspiring this lovely 80s classic. Sadly, no overnight sleeping and charges apply 24 hours a day. But we'll pay up and we'll make our way across this rather bleak vista over towards the Portland Bill Lighthouse.
Well, we've both done the washing and drying up, and now it's time to find somewhere to sleep. Fingers crossed there'll be a space where we were earlier by the quarries. And there's Portland Bill, and there's the light.
Well, it's raining at the moment, but we're back up by the quarry site, having been down to the Portland Bill Lighthouse, and this is where we're going to stay the night. There's about 5 or 6 other motorhomes nearby, so it feels quite safe. The only problem we've noticed is that we're on a bit of a bonk. So we'll be sleeping with the blood rushing to our heads tonight.
For goodness sake. I don't think you'll notice it, will you?
The kids are playing just before bed, and I've just noticed this shiny streak which next to the play day across the floor here. If I just use B's torch, that leads over to there, and you can see it's shiny in that corner.
It's also filthy.
It's filthy, but what I'm more worried about is that cabinet should not have any water underneath it. You can see in the corner there, maybe not, but it's wet all along here where that reflection is, and down here. I'm not sure if that's just where we've pulled up or if that's been doing it for a while, but it's the first I've seen of that little trail, so let's get in there. I've lifted all the cushions off and that little damp patch there is always there. I think it's more of a stain than anything else, so open here. Oh, let's move that light back a bit, babe. Yeah, there we go.
Where's it coming in?
It looks like I reckon it's the inlet to the water pump, and it's wet, so it's come loose or something, but it's definitely leaking. Right, the boys have just done their teeth and it appears to be leaking from the actual pump, not the way in. I think it was wet there because it tracked all the way around from there, but it's also tracked to here on these wires, which probably isn't good. And then you can possibly see down there, I've got a little puddle. No idea why this has suddenly happened, but I'll take a better look at it in the morning. We'll try and be sparing with our water tonight. Just a lovely quiet night on Portland. Oh my god.
Sounds like the ceiling's going to come in. Start this morning, and I got up early because I need to take Peggy for a walk. Bless her, she did really well last night. I think she's been quite fazed by staying in the motorhome, but we heard her eating her dinner that she hadn't eaten in the middle of the night last night, so obviously hunger won out. But she was also really nervous about the rain and the thunder, because she jumped up on her bed to get some reassurance as we were going to bed, which was really sweet. Where are you taking me, Peg? Should we go and see if we can see the sea? After the storm, it's a beautiful morning. I can see in the car park that we had to leave because they don't allow overnighters. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 in the distance vans that have parked, but over in the road that we have parked you can see that this is quite popular for motorhomes. I'd say that we had a gang of us all together in the storm last night. Oh, that does look beautiful. Now I can hear the 40 miles per hour road behind me, but when you go into the quarries you can't hear it at all. And I was just thinking to myself, if it was 6:30 in the morning and I was waking up at home, there's no way I'd be out walking a dog across a field. Unless you're lucky enough to be able to do that, then I'm insanely jealous of you. But what's great about motorhoming is that you can find yourself in the most wonderful locations. Yeah, your body clock just seems to change. I was quite happy going to bed early yesterday, listening to the storm as I went to sleep, and waking up this morning before 6 o'clock ready to go. I don't think we'll be going down there right now, Peggy. It's a bit of a jump. She's thinking about it. Amazing geology wherever you turn here, and history really, to think about what was taken out and where it was used. And there's Stampy in the distance with all of his friends. Oh, now this is definitely a beautiful view before 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun is just hiding behind those clouds over there, and you can see little shimmers on the water just as it creeps out. People busy, waking up for the morning. The sea looking serene. The only hint of the storm from last night are droplets on the seat where I want to sit, but I can't because I will get a wet bottom. And it seems fitting that, of course, the Olympic rings, to commemorate the sailing events that took place in Portland and Weymouth, that they are made of Portland stone. What a lovely, lovely memory for everybody that was here.
What you see there is a classic Lidl, right on the edge or the northern tip of this Isle of Portland. That's where we're heading. Good morning, by the way, to everybody. Thanks for watching. It's 8 AM and we've moved the van back round to the car park we were in yesterday, only about 100 metres or so from our free spot, and the water pump is still leaking. So it wasn't anything to do with the camber of the road that we thought might be doing last night. We seem to have a definite leak. Looking online this morning, could be all sorts of reasons, gaskets, sealants, why the thing is leaking. But as someone said in the forum, for all the effort, for £50 you can replace it, and so I think we might be replacing it. Now, we've currently got a fridge that doesn't work unless we're driving, or a mains hookup, and now we've got no water in the van. So really it's a question of whether we're going to stay or not. Do we abandon this and head home? Because really without water and without a fridge it's not going to be much fun. Or do we head to Lidl and buy bottles and bottles of water and head to a campsite maybe for a hookup and then see how that goes? I think the adventurers in us would rather grab some water, head for a campsite and see how it goes. At least the sun's out compared to last night, which felt like we were being attacked by a chainsaw in the middle of the night.
8, 7, 1, 8, 8, 1, 5. Okay, so this doesn't add up.
It's a sad way to name a river,
That
but
one does.
there you are,
Any
it's
more?
the River Tiber.
Welcome to our bathroom. You've never been in here before. I've just spotted another little repair I could be getting on with. We have a toilet roll holder here that keeps doing this. You can imagine with the kids, that's quite annoying. So it's going to be another jobby for my Swiss Army knife. Well, I've got the handle off, but unfortunately looks like I need an Allen key on the back of that to tighten that up. Good job. We're going to go and visit Lidl in a minute, so I might pick up some tools. Okay, so we've spent the morning working in the van, dodging the rain, and as the car park fills up with people who want to take a walk through the quarries that we did yesterday, we're now on our way down to Lidl for some supplies, maybe a few tools for the van, some backup tools, and also onto a campsite that's about 20 miles away from here. We had limited choice due to the fact that we've got Peggy with us, the dog, so we needed a dog friendly site with an electric hookup at a reasonable price. Very quick bit of supermarket chat for you. If you ever come down to Weymouth, try and find the Tesco Extra just outside of town. Most amazing Tesco I've ever been to. It was like a very grand campsite, but it had fountains and waterfalls out the front. And if you ever come to the Lidl on the north end of the Portland, don't consider parking here overnight. Well, I've picked myself up another phone charger we can keep in the van, some of my favourite yoghurt, but there's no little tool sets. I'm sure there always is. This might be sadly more useful right now than it was last week. Okay, here's a good deal. This was £3 or £4 for just a cable alone. If I buy this cordless screwdriver for £10, it comes with a 1.5 metre USB-C cable, so I can charge my phone with the same thing. So really the difference is that's cost me about £5 to have a portable screwdriver with all those attachments. Bargain.
Well, this is our second motorhome stop because we need some power. Daddy's converter didn't arrive on time. It's coming from Mars, so it takes a little bit longer. So our boy Etty is about to take part in his French lesson, and this place is just lovely. Well, I know we have our own sleeping accommodation, but if that falls through, then we've got these nice little pods around the side here. Apparently there's a play area, nice toilet block, maybe even showers, a playground. Ah, yes. And they allow dogs. Did I say they had doggy ice cream? Yes. But poor old Peg, she's a bit upset. She's just eating little bits of cheese. She's not happy.
So we're on to about plan C at the moment. We were supposed to go to Moonfleet Farm, but it turned out we wouldn't get there in time for Etty's French lesson, which is in at the moment online. And we needed a hookup for the laptop to work. So we now have our hookup, and we picked a campsite just a few miles away from Weymouth, which on pitchup.com was quoting something around £38, including the dog and the kids and the hookup. So I rang to check availability and booked up with them direct, and it turned out to be £29. Right now we've got the awning up, having that dry out. It's got a load of stuck leaves in it. Etty's online, and everyone else is enjoying our lunch. So I'm getting in there because I've heard there's cotton candy flavoured grapes.
Yeah, plenty of fresh water, lots of bins, nicely manicured lawns, peace and quiet, other doggies. Apparently the toilets are fantastic. I shall look forward to having a look in a second. There we go. It's Higher Moor Farm, established 2012. So yeah, they've got lots of these lovely bijou little pods. You've got a double bed in there and a kitchen, and I guess the smallest of bathrooms, and this lovely outdoor space. And look, you've got fields that way. Granted, there are some electricity pylons around, but it's not really affecting the ambience because it just feels really tranquil and just very well looked after. Not a spot of litter can be seen. And then there's two of our kiddywinkles enjoying the play area up here, which is fantastic. Peggy, it's okay now. Peggy has been fooled by the statue sheep. I already love these beautiful flowers that are outside. They even give you biodegradable bags for you to collect your dog's waste. Well, here we are then. Wow, this is astonishingly posh. Look at this. And no charge for your hairdryer, just pop it on. Gorgeous showers. And it smells absolutely divine. So we've got laundry facilities, washing, drying, ironing, ice pack freezers, customer microwaves, phone charging point. During the quieter period, the games barn can be opened on request. So let's have a look and see what we can see.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool. A lovely old red post box. I'm not sure whether it's in use. Vintage bike and the farm shop. Oh, this is lovely. Habas fritas. I think we'll have to get some gifts for Grandma in here. What did you want to have? The double dip. They've got handmade soaps, wine stocks of sweets. 45p for a packet of fruit pastels, that's pretty good. Fresh milk. Ooh. Okay, let's give this a whirl. How's this afternoon's office, dear?
Busy.
Oh, stress. stress. Could do with some office furniture. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch.
We've got power, which is about the best thing in the world to me right now. Apart
Yeah.
from a non-leaking water pump.
Non-leaking water pump, working fridge, and a toilet roll holder that doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
Oh, and this.
Clean.
I feel like I'm in some I don't know, a shanty town. I don't know whether that's politically correct these days. I don't know whether I'm inhaling any of the particles of fungus that might be flying down from this awning. I'll just have to see how I feel in the next couple of days. Well, we're leaving the campsite, not that we want to, but this little lady here is rejecting most of her foodstuffs. Mind you, we did hear her having a 2 a.m. munch on the food, but today she hasn't touched any of her wet foods.
So we're sat outside having a little drink and encouraging Peggy there to eat some food. She seems to be on some sort of food protest. And while we were sat there, I was explaining to Bea about how one video I saw on repairing the gas issue I've got with the fridge is about removing this vent. And I just thought, well, I wonder how you do it. And I looked at this broken clip here and the other one and pushed it up, and I said, well, don't tell me that's it. And apparently it is. It seems to want to come out. Don't understand how that side is held in.
Are you sure you want to be doing this now?
No, but it would be quite cool if I fixed it, wouldn't it? or broke it.
Yeah, quite a tally of things to fix.
Look,
at the moment.
It wants to come out.
Yeah, but you know, we have this water pump leak, and at the moment our fridge is being powered by the site. So
trouble is, if I break this, no doubt that costs about £500 to replace.
yeah, I think choose your battles wisely. It's 5 p.m. on a sort of stormy skied. There you go. Yeah, so this looks like
Now,
gas.
Yes, but it's exactly like the video I watched on YouTube and
That's
of
all right
the
then.
University of YouTube. What he did was interesting. He took his power drill, set it to hammer setting, no drill bits in, and then placed his drill on this bit here, gave it a hammer for a number of seconds, and then tried it again, and it worked. So there's obviously a valve or something perhaps in this section here that can be loosened up with a tap.
So it's the school of hitting it with something till it starts to work again.
If in doubt, give it a clout.
You forgot your hammer drill.
But I've got a Swiss Army knife.
It's not
It doesn't have a
enough.
hammer on it or a drill.
Please help me.
But look,
Viewers, how can I make him stop? What? No. Daz, you'll kill the children. I don't know what to say.
Do you think?
I feel like this is perhaps something to do with a midlife crisis.
Do you think anyone on the campsite would mind if I keep hammering away at that?
I think they'll love it. I think the dogs are enjoying it. I think everybody on this campsite where it's raining is enjoying it.
So I get the awning out. If I get the awning out, it'd be like a mini workshop.
Is this a midlife crisis? Please let me know in the comments. If so, how can I distract him? Yay for English summertime weather! And we're due quite a few days of lightning and thunder and rain, so we've got that to look forward to. Thankfully we'll be going home. This is a shepherd's hut, and they've got 2 shepherd's huts on site in this beautiful campsite. Reason being is that shepherd's huts have got quite popular for little camping pods. Now in the 19th century, the land around here, and it still is today, is very chalky, not full of nutrients, and what they really needed was some natural fertiliser. Yeah, in the 19th century we didn't really have any chemical fertilisers or anything like that we use today. And so with this land that wasn't particularly full of nutrients, they wanted to grow crops. So what better way of growing crops than to bring fertiliser in? So they started having sheep on fields to fertilise the land. But it wasn't like we see today in England, where you've got sheep spread out on great big fields. They're all in very small little pens. So that little area of the field became fertilised and was great for growing crops, and they'd move the sheep across and move the sheep across and so on. And it was a way of making sure that the soil was super fertile. Now, that meant the shepherd was really, really important. And of course, he had to be on site a lot of the time to manage the land, to feed the sheep, and of course during lambing season to help the sheep give birth to the lambs. So to have something on site was really important, and this had his bedding, somewhere to prepare food, somewhere to go to the loo. It was ideal. This is a rare sight. Daryl's cleaning the floor. Well, to be truthful, we're in the middle of a lightning storm, which is wonderful. It sounds like we're being rained down by bullets, but we accidentally left the vents open because the fire alarm went off just a second ago whilst I was cooking. So the vents were open. We sat down and we've been enjoying the lightning from out of our window. It's really interesting.
Fork!
Yeah, look.
Whoa! Whoa! That was a big strike.
But yeah, we forgot to close the vents, so now we had 2 puddles because we were too busy eating and watching the lightning.
Well, good morning everyone. Today, I've got to be quiet because it's just gone 7 o'clock. We're off to Weymouth, to the Sea Life Centre.
house and I feel like a new woman. They were absolutely lovely, nice and warm, loads of space. It's been really useful because our water pump is now leaking, so we haven't been able to use it. Having these facilities on site has been really handy. Primarily, we came to this campsite because we wanted to use the electric, because we're still waiting on our inverter to arrive. But actually, it's been brilliant because we've been able to use their washing facilities.
Well, next to this lovely little toilet block and chemical toilet is a grey waste drain, except I don't seem to know where my grey waste is. There it is, so I'm going to get a little bit further forwards. See if that'll do. No point driving that around. Now, as you know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I couldn't bear the idea I wasn't hitting the bullseye with this. There we go, that's better.
Well, it's all got a little bit bleaker. There's poor Stampy in the background, and in Stampy is Daz and Peggy. And we're not finding it very easy to park our motorhome in Weymouth. Now we're in Lodmore Country Park, Lodmore Car Park, and it says on the website that motorhomes can park there. But ours is just a little bit too long. It says 6 metres maximum, and then we can't see anywhere else apart from Pavilion. It's a bit too far away. So what have you found? What have you identified?
It's Blackfeet Star.
Yeah.
Over there, there's this.
Well, look. They do. That's like me before I brush my teeth in the morning.
The lagoon is.
So this is a four-eyed fish. We've been to quite a few sea life centres, and obviously with the Merlin Pass they're dotted around the country. But this is the first one I've seen, which has got a great big outside area and actually has an estuary running through it.
Well, I thought I was going to miss out on this trip to the Sea Life Centre. You can see Stampy just over my shoulder there. If you ever come to Weymouth, this is the Lodmore car parking site, which does have room for motorhomes in the large section I'm walking through now that are under 6 metres. But if you're over 6 metres, you need to head to the lorry park behind me. However, as you enter the lorry park, it says lorries and coaches only. What it doesn't tell you is if you drive through that section towards the end, that's where all the motorhomes are. And we only found that out thanks to the lovely receptionist at the Sea Life Centre, where I'm heading now.
In comes the tide. Wow, in all the aquariums I've been, I've never seen an octopus exposed like this.
Although this looks like a display, these are not performing seals. In the wild, seals can rise up to 2 metres out of the water to chase their prey, and Weymouth mimic this by teaching the seals that if they follow the ball on the end of the stick, they get a reward. Here you can see one of the seals is taught to come up onto the shore onto a hidden set of scales so they can help monitor their weight. After the aquarium, we took a stroll down Weymouth Promenade in search of some lovely chips.
These lovely beach houses, aren't they amazing? hang on a minute. Where are you going? Where are you going, motorhome? Taxi! Taxi!